Hi guys, my name is Ardia Jabardewi and I'm here with my friends Aninditania Ekarini and Nabila Rona Fitriapane. So today we will do our presentation for the history of English literature and we will talk about Emma by Jane Austen from the Romanticism era. Specifically, we will talk about number one is Emma. So we'll talk about summary and plot. The summary will be presented by Anin and the plot is by me, Arya Jabardewi. And number two is Romanticism. The definition of Romanticism and the characteristics will be presented by Nabila Rona Fitriapane. And the last is examples of works from the Romanticism era and it will be presented by me. Okay, Anin, the time is yours.
So this is the summary of Emma. Emma Woodhouse is a rich, beautiful young girl living with her father in the small village of Highbury. She is determined to never get married in order to take care of her father, but convince herself and everyone else that she is an excellent matchmaker. Emma tries to convince her friend Harriet Smith that Mr. Elton, the vicar of their village, was a better match for Harriet than the farmer Robert Martin. She believes that Harriet and Mr. Elton share the same feeling as she tries to set them up. But it doesn't work because Mr. Elton actually fancies Emma. Mr. and Mrs. Weston want their son Frank Churchill to marry Emma, and Emma, who has a second thought about her decision to never get married, finally tries to give Frank a chance. Emma thinks that she and Frank love each other in the end, but it turns out that Frank Churchill already engaged to Jane Fairfax. Emma then finds out that her good friend Mr. Knightley has been in love with her this whole time, and the girl finally realized that she's also in love with him. Next speaker, please.
So now let's talk about the plot. So the plot is divided into six. The first is exposition. So the exposition is Emma Woodhouse is a 20-year-old resident of Highbury and she imagines herself to be naturally gifted in matchmaking. And Emma tried to find a match for her friend Harriet. So number two is rising action. So Emma realized that she couldn't make a match between Mr. Elton and Harriet. So she decided to be in love with Frank, and she flirts aggressively with him. And then Emma cruelly insults Miss Bates and Mr. Knightley reprimand her and she feels so bad because of it. And number three is conflict. So Emma struggles to shed her vanity and fear of confronting her own feelings, and Emma's struggles cause her to meddle and harm to other lives. Number four is climax. So Emma finally realized that she's in love with Mr. Knightley. And number five is falling action. So Emma and Mr. Knightley confess their love to each other. And the last but not least is resolution. So Emma finally accepts Mr. Knightley's proposal and Harriet accepts Mr. Martin's proposal, and Jane and Frank Churchill prepare to marry.
Definitions of the Romantic era. The Romantic era occurred between the end of the 18th century and the beginning of the 19th century. It is called the Romantic era because in this period, the ideas of literary works were dominated by elements such as imaginations, freedom of expression, and idealisms. The characteristic of the literary works of the Romantic period differ from the slogan, "Emotion is more important than reasons." Nature is the best moral teachers, and language of poetry must be the language of moral people. These are slogans originate from the assumption of individual feelings, so they are subjective and emphasize feeling more than ratio. Thank you.
Is this some of the examples from word examples I mean from the Romanticism era. So the famous authors from this era is Edgar Allan Poe and Mary Shelley, Jane Austen, Williams Wordsworth, and John Keats. And here is some famous work from the Romanticism era. It's lyrical ballads by Taylor Coleridge and William Wordsworth, and the Sorrows of Young Werther by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I'm sorry, I can't spell it right. And the third is Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm. Ode to Nightingale by John Keats, and Don Juan by George Gordon Byron. And actually, there's still a lot of works you can find from Romanticism era. I think that's all from our groups, and I hope we explain it clearly so you can understand what we try to say. And I hope you enjoyed it and have a good day. Thank you. Bye.